there's no one that I know that's done more for animals, in the recent history, in the past 30 years probably, who knows. Many, many years of animal advocacy, letter writing campaigns before the internet, just a lot of work, toiling away, relative obscurity, who knows, but not for us. We know her. And she's also a very prolific writer. She's written 3 novels, Vegan Cowboy, The Scheme, and Madeline's Masterpiece, which I have a copy right here this time. They're really wonderful novels. Lots of character development, lots of fun things. Vegan stuff, vegan themes are there, like no one else is willing to do or dares to do. So it's my joy to bring on Carol Treacy.
Thank you. Is this yours, right? Oh. Hi. There was a mix-up, just so everyone knows. A couple people left thinking that I was going to be speaking on raising vegan kids. Andy was supposed to be here from 5:15 to 6:15. So I'm here from 5:15, now 5:20 something, to 5:45. And I wanted to speak to people about getting involved in animal rights activism, whether it's sitting in front of your computer and signing your name to petitions, or writing postcards to your congresspeople, or letters to the editor, or getting out and picketing in front of Marine World, or I think it's Six Flags. Marine World is down in San Diego, but any amusement park where they use animals, or the zoo. There are people that protest actually in Petaluma at the Petaluma Poultry Processing Plant, and they'll stand out there once a month and picket. I don't know how effective it is. I was going to ask the group as well if you have any suggestions. If I come up with something and you've done it, let me know. This is obviously, it's going to be pretty informal. I know the presidential debate is in about 40 minutes, so I was not expecting a huge crowd, but that's okay. It's okay. So just a teeny bit about me. I did not grow up vegan or vegetarian. I actually grew up in the 50s with the standard American diet. So the idea of, there was no such thing as a vegan when I was growing up. And my dad knew a man that he went to, I think he was in the Army with, who was a vegetarian. And he was probably the sickest person I ever knew. He looked horrible. He may have been very healthy, but he looked horrible. And that to me was a testament of vegetarianism. So I didn't even look at that lifestyle. And when you went to health food stores, a lot of the health food store clerks looked very sick. So I don't know what they were eating or what they weren't eating. I'm guessing, being vegetarian back then, they still had dairy, but it was not a good testament to the vegetarian lifestyle. So it really wasn't until I was in my early 30s that I read Diet for a New America by John Robbins. And that was followed by Animal Liberation by Peter Singer. And that's when I was introduced to not especially the health reasons, but the ethical reasons. And that's when it hit me. And I know I've said this before, but if anyone has anyone seen Soylent Green, that old movie? Remember that movie? And at the very end, Charlton Heston, when he realizes that Soylent Green is people, and he's yelling it to everybody, and people are just like, yeah, whatever. And that's the way I felt about when I learned about how animals were raised. I wanted to tell everybody, and a lot of people just went, they either brushed me aside, they didn't want to hear it, or they literally put their fingers in their ears. So being vegan and even vegetarian, it's not as difficult as it used to be, but it's still a pretty tough road to hoe. And is that an expression?
It is now.
Row, not road, row to hoe. It's that vegan brain, I just... And I went to a wedding about a month ago, and there were about 50, 60 people there. I was the only vegan there. And that, when you hang out with vegans, you think everyone's vegan. It's like, oh, have you tried this, have you tried that? And everyone's so happy and you're in this big love fest. And then you go outside that bubble. And I even said to the bride, I said, I'm the only vegan? It was very disappointing, but the purpose of this talk is, if you have a passion, if you want to help the animals, and it does, then you can. And one animal you help makes a big difference. Maybe not in the world, but to that animal it makes a huge difference. So, unfortunately, almost every animal is exploited on this planet. So if you do have a favorite, chances are they're being exploited. So you have a chance to help them. If it's horses, you've got the horse racing industry is replete with violence and abuse. You've got the wild horses that are being rounded up by the Bureau of Land Management because of the ranchers. You've got the Premarin farms where I don't know if people are familiar with Premarin. Premarin is a premier hormone for women, and it actually stands for pregnant mare urine, Premarin. So they're taking pregnant mare urine, and the horses are not treated well, and the foals are a byproduct of the industry. So they're destroyed. So you can, pick any animal, even something as obscure as the pangolin, which is this weird-looking animal. It's being exploited now for its meat and its hide, and it's becoming extinct. Did you have?
Sorry.
Oh, no. It's a pangolin. No. Pangolin. Pangolin. Pangolin.
Is it like a penguin?
No. It looks like I think it's like an anteater. Yeah. It's got very scaly skin, and people have realized, ooh, we can use the skin, we can use the meat, and so they're exploiting it. There's even I remember reading about this very, very expensive coffee, and yeah, you know that too. And it's very expensive, or maybe it's not as much anymore, because there's an animal, and I forgot is it a civet? It's something like a civet, and it eats the coffee beans, and then it poops them out. And the process of it doing that makes a very unique cup of coffee. So they use the coffee beans. Well, I think they found that out in the wild. Well, now they're incarcerating the civets. So now they have civet farms, and these animals, their entire life, are in cages, and they feed them coffee beans, and that's their life. So believe me, any elephants, rhinos, anything you want. So what I'd like to do is just give you the basics. And one thing I wanted to start with, and I don't know if I've seen a video on this, that one woman online, she talks about this, but what to me is like one of the building blocks of trying to create more compassion for animals is how we use animals in our language. For example, oh my God, that guy is such a pig. Your room is a pigsty. You eat like a pig. So now you're taking this animal who you sweat like a pig. Pigs don't sweat. Pigs are not, they don't, when you eat the noise that a pig makes when it eats, it's because of its snout. If you ever have a pug dog, they make the same noise. They don't eat more than they need to. They're not messy. They use the mud to cool off. So when we use animals in a derogatory sense, we're desensitizing ourselves to that creature. So it's a lot more, I can justify eating a pig because bad policemen are pigs, that guy was a pig. So we need to watch how we talk. That guy, what a turkey. So a turkey is a bad thing. A snake. The guy was as sly as a fox. Pardon me for keeps using guy, but I don't mean it. Person has the guy's a bird brain. Birds are really smart. I remember telling someone I didn't mind eating turkeys because they're stupid. So this was a long time ago. So when I ate meat, someone said that when it rains, turkeys put their heads up and they'll drown because they look up. Well, no, that's not a reason to eat something because it's not smart. You could eat half, huh?
Sorry.
What?
Someone.
Someone. Otherwise, if we based our eating habits on intelligence, half of American humans would be eaten. Big Trump buffets everywhere. Yeah. Did I hit? If anyone has any other names that we use for animals, just yell them out. But I tried to. There was on Facebook. Robert De Niro had a post. I don't know if anyone saw it. He can't stand Trump, so he was just totally demeaning him, and he called him a dog, and he called him a pig. And I turned it off. I just didn't want to see it anymore because he took two animals that he's comparing them to Trump. So just be aware, be aware of how you talk because it really does make a difference. And I was correcting people. I had corrected a friend one too many times and she got really mad at me. But it was really hard to listen. Oh, cold as a fish. Our mother used to say, that's my sister. Our mother used to say that, that woman, she's as cold as a fish. So now fish are just cold, impartial, and not caring beings. So why not eat them? Oh. So anyway, that to me, that's the basic. You don't have to do anything other than change the way you talk. But if you do want to go a step further, on a very rudimentary level, there are a number of petition sites, and you can sign up for them. And care2petition.com. I get petitions every day in my email. When you've already used your name and address, it autofills. It takes me about 25 seconds to sign a petition online now. Ray had mentioned I used to have a letter writing service called The Right Cause, WRITE, and for 13 years. And I wrote letters on behalf of my members on all sorts of animal rights issues. And I used a computer, but it was actually called, the computer memory was 264, because that's how many bytes it had. I could not save all my letters on the computer. I had to put them on floppy disks. So now a letter writing service is almost obsolete because you can get so many more thousands of people to sign petitions, and it does work. There were a couple of petitions that I signed during the summer, and it was on pig wrestling. They have pig wrestling contests in towns across America, and these men try and wrestle the pig in mud and put it in a barrel. So, and the pictures are horrible. So a couple people circulated these petitions, and some of the towns stopped these contests. And there's one that I don't think we're going to stop. I just got it, and it was a turkey drop where they drop a live turkey from a plane, and turkeys, they can't fly. So, and the whole town rallies around it. It's a big deal. So I signed the petition. You never know. But the turkey comes crashing down. It hits buildings. It hits different things. Anyway, so that's one thing. Now, the way I like to affect change, aside from writing letters and letters to the editor, is I like writing stories. I like writing novels. If you like more involvement, there are plenty of organizations you can join where they get together and have meetings, and I'll get to that later because Ray, who introduced me, did something to help the animals that I will bring up after this. But basically, I wanted to help the animals through education, and there are some amazing nonfiction books on helping animals, and I recommend anyone that looks good. I recommend it. But my forte, my passion, is novels. So 3 years ago, I wrote Vegan Cowboy, and I wanted to incorporate factory farming and different aspects of animal rights into the story. So it was an entertaining story, but hopefully people learned something from it. And then a year later, I came out with The Scheme, which is about a group of senators for Republican senators who want to get rid of kind of the underbelly of society. And they figure out that the way they can do it is basically poisoning the fast food in inner city restaurants. So that's that story. And then this Madeline's Masterpiece just came out, and that's more of a love story. But all three of them incorporate puppy mills, animals and experimentation, and I try and do it in a way that's not really heavy, but it can be a little difficult to read. I know it wasn't really easy to write, but that's my contribution. If you have an idea, if you want to do something, there's nothing stopping you, and that's why I wanted to talk about Ray. I met Ray Cooper a couple of years ago, and we were just idly chatting, and he mentioned, we live in the same town, we live in Petaluma, that he wanted to start kind of a vegan animal rights group. I'm like, well, good luck. I'm not interested. I really wasn't interested in doing that. I'd rather sit home alone by myself and write. I like people, but this is more comfortable. It's my comfort zone. And so I thought, okay, Ray, do it. I don't know how you're going to start it or what you're going to do. And pretty soon, within a couple of months, I get an email, and Ray has his first meeting. And he just found the people to do it. And that's what it takes. And I don't know if anyone's heard of Rowdy Girl Sanctuary in Texas. I know, yes. Well, you know everything. Well, this woman, Renee Sonnen King, she married a rancher, a cattle rancher. And after a couple years, she really became intolerant of the cows being sent to slaughter. I mean, he was a rancher. So she reached a point where she said, I can't do this anymore. You either get rid of the cows or I'm leaving. And they came up with an idea, I think she actually came up with it, where she would do a Kickstarter campaign and buy her husband's steers back from him, because he would have lost about $50,000. I think he's third generation cattle rancher. So bottom line is, she now has a sanctuary. She bought all the cows back. She has benefits on the property. She has more than cows. She and her husband are both vegan. And if anyone said that someone could do that, I'd say, you're nuts. How could you? But she did. And the beauty of the internet is that you can find anything you want. If you want, yes? Oh, really? Oh,
Where's the sanctuary?
It's in, let's see, it's in Texas. Hold on. Okay, it's in Angleton, Texas. Yeah. So with 5 minutes left. So here's some ideas that you can do. Another thing that is very easy, and it's really easy here, is to wear veganism in your clothes. T-shirts, caps, tote bags. It gives it's food for thought. It gives people ideas on. It makes people think. Some of them can be really rude, and if people like that, if you want to wear a shirt that says. I was looking up some T-shirts. I mean, really, you go to the internet, just type in best vegan T-shirts, and you'll find, and go to images, and you'll just find tons. So I won't go into what some of them said. Care2.com and iPetitions.com are two good petition sites. So signing petitions, there are different groups, not just, I think Mercy for Animals and Vegan Outreach. It's not confrontational. They'll give you pamphlets. I believe Vegan Outreach is in Sacramento. They will send you the pamphlets for free, and you can go wherever you want and just pass them out. A lot of people go to universities because the students are really open to it. And it's another very easy way. If you have a comfort zone, I'm just going to suggest that maybe go outside your comfort zone. Maybe go to a protest, see if you like it. If you don't like it, that's cool, but maybe just going, holding up a sign, maybe talking to people. People can get very confrontational. If you're going in front of the opera house and your fur is murder and all these women are coming in with fur, I've known people who have done that. Petaluma has an auction yard, and I knew people who stood in front of the auction yard and screamed, "Meat is murder," as the trucks were coming in with the animals. You will never get me near that, but if it floats your boat, hey, why not try it? And if you don't like it, you never have to do it again. I mentioned letters to the editor. Also, if you like to cook, if you're vegan and you like to cook, start a YouTube show, and then put it on Facebook and anything that people can do. And because I probably have a minute left, does anyone have suggestions that I have not mentioned? You have to, right? No.
I'm in a group called Direct Action Everywhere. It's started in the Bay Area, and it's now in 130 cities around the world. And so, yeah, our thing is direct action, put it on the table, get people talking, because we can't just be nice. We're not here to be nice. And but our thing is community. So we're really, that's a big part of it, is building community. We actually just started a community center in Berkeley, right near campus.
Wow.
Space there. But also the individual stories are so important. So one of the things we pass out are like a picture of Wilbur the pig at Animal Place, and on the back is a little description of what his life was, and it gets people, because it's like the things we see in the news where people get all upset if it's one animal who escapes, but they don't care about all
No,
like
not en
the
masse.
pigs in Toronto, they're, even that when they were still nameless, but the fact that they were visible. And so that's what, you nodded, so you heard of, or a little bit.
Oh, you mean the truck
Direct action.
Direct action everywhere. Yeah.
So that's, if people do want to go out and make some noise.
Right.
I mean, we do all sorts of stuff, and people don't have, that's what's seen. People don't have to do that.
Right.
We do all sorts of stuff.
Right. There was a woman who went into a grocery store with a lamb live.
Oh,
and she asked the butcher. She said, "Can you prepare this for me?" Yeah. So people can get very creative.
Yeah.
My comfort zone is much smaller, but.
I just have one of the things I saw that somebody, I think it was in Brazil, they had a little machine, they had a live pig.
Oh yes, I saw that too.
And they put the live pig in this box, and there were sausages that come out, fresh sausages. So they were selling fresh sausages, and there's a pig. It was a baby too, of course. And
They are babies.
nobody was into it for some reason. And then, of course, it wasn't really hurting the pig. But
Right,
the
they
pig
put
was
it in the
just scared,
box.
they were grinding sound, and there was sausage was coming out. So they want the sausage, but they don't want to deal with the pig.
Right.
One of my kind of subtle activism things, because I teach food prep, is I call a pig. I don't call it pork.
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
say you're
Or a
eating
chop.
cow.
Or even eating itself,
Yeah.
it's flesh.
Yeah, you're eating cow. And a lot of people, they have a disconnect between what
Yeah.
their meat is really coming from. There was a study on school-age children, I think second grade, that went to a supermarket and they took pictures of cows and chickens, and they were asking them to figure out where it came from. And they didn't even get that it came from animals. And then they were guessing beef came from a chicken and vice versa.
Wow.
So they're just so disconnected from where it came
Well,
from
because it's very well hidden. And living in Petaluma, it's a very big agricultural area. I mean, it used to be the egg basket of the world. And one of my friend's daughters, when she was 12 years old, she was going to school in Petaluma, really close to agriculture. There are cows, there's huge egg farms there. And this little girl, this 12-year-old, because of McDonald's and the trees, the burger trees, they used to do that with the McBurglar. She thought that burgers grew on trees. So they do a very good job of brainwashing, and I think it's my time up.
No,
Oh.
I was just going to add, actually, sorry.
No, go ahead. I didn't mean to.
One of the most important things we do is something called open rescue, and it's
Yeah.
where you go into the farms in the middle of the night and you bring out animals who are going to die because they're dead ones all over the place, and document all of the paperwork and antibiotic, all this, and then takes them out, and then we get major press. So we've had like 4 major investigations in the last 2 years.
You also put an identity to the animal.
Yes,
All the
Miley,
story.
like
Yeah,
Miley the
because if
pig.
you don't, then they try to prosecute you for those.
That's right,
errors.
that's right.
Because the public is behind you because
Right.
they see a name. It's really important that there's an individual story.
Right.
And then what I was going to interject was that I think it's really important, guys, I've done this for like 5 years, is that a lot of the magic happens when a person who meets a vegan, okay? This is not a group, it's just individual. It happens if you picture one person who's vegan that goes out and talk, how many people do they talk to? They talk to people on the internet. Like even if it was an older person and they influenced a child or a younger person, they get on the internet. So it doesn't matter if you're older or younger. It really matters. You never can measure it. But it's how you carry yourself. It's a confident message. It's a short message usually. Don't engage in arguments is one of the things that it's always a dead end. One of the things that's a major concept that I learned after so many years of doing this is that when someone doesn't have an argument, all they can do is muddy the waters with your argument. They can either ridicule you or destroy your argument. They have no argument. You've won the argument. You don't have to say very much. Let them explain their end and watch that argument fall
Yeah, ask
apart.
them questions.
And interject what they're doing. Let them speak and say, I'm interested in what you're doing. How does that work? Like, I love animals, but, like I'm pro-cow, and how can I be into dairy? Is there a conflict? And they're explain where there's no conflict, rather than I would explain the conflict. Because they're going to see the conflict in them, and they're going to say, you're the conflict. It's basically what's going to happen.
One very quick last thing. If you're on Facebook, I really recommend you friend animal rights groups. I have educated a lot of people on Facebook, a lot of my friends. I also know that some of my friends have left my Facebook page. I don't care about them, honestly. What I like is some of my friends saying, that's horrible what you put on. Is that really how all egg factory farms are? Yes. Well, what can we do about it? Stop eating the eggs, stop eating the animals. So yeah, Facebook can be an amazing conduit. Yes?
So I'm Carol's sister, and when she said she was going to start writing books, I'm like, oh God, I hope I like them. I'm very honest, and I couldn't lie to her. And so she knew that. So she gave me her first book to read and go over, and I'm like, oh God, please like this book. And I got to tell you something, I read a lot, and her books are fantastic.
Aw.
I was so happy that I like them so much. And if anybody here is a reader, you will love her books. They're funny, they're educational, they're every adjective you can think of, those are her books. So,
Oh, thank you.
And then what I do is I get her books, and I read them, and then I pass them on. And when you pass them on to non-vegans, non-vegetarians, they're easy to read, and they're very well written. So these people will read it, and it's almost like, what is that when you...
Osmosis.
Yes,
subliminal.
subliminally, they're learning about all these animal rights issues, and it's amazing. I think Carol's done an amazing job with her books. So.
Thank you. Well, they are for sale, so if anyone's interested, let me know. No, I didn't.
I'm not in the family. And I've read them too. I'm tearing my way through Madeline's Masterpiece. I can see the development and the prolific nature of Carol as she grinds out fourth novel now coming. There's no end to it. What I like is the characters. Because there's a lot of work to create a character that we're going to like and care about as the book progresses. And she not only does the main ones, but there's side ones and there's stuff happening all over the place. So, it's vegan, but there's a story there, and it is nice because vegans win out in the end.
Always.
You should put us off on time.
Not one bad vegan.
You have to look where a vegan doesn't do well, then we'll have another season,
Yeah, right. Where they do well.
Yeah.
So I think my time is up, and thank you for coming. I appreciate it. And if you did sign the sheet, thank you. What I was going... that's okay. So what I'm going to do is on my website put down a lot of the suggestions and have links. So if you're interested, I'll have that available within the next week.
And you can also, the books are right here and they're fabulous and I'm not a relative.
Oh, you are.
I purchased them in print and then I also got them on Kindle.
if you're a Kindle person or
Yeah, they're on all the ebook platforms. Yeah. Oh, 15 for one, 20 for two, and 30 for three. Yeah.
And what I love, I read a lot, and the characters and the dialogue is just beautiful.
You can't wait for a
And-
sequel for each
Yeah,
one.
and I think about the characters. Like I'll
Yes.
see something and I'll think, oh, that reminds me. You know, it's that kind of book that stays with you. So.
Thank you. I'll pay you later.
That's your screenwriting background with all the dialogue.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.